everybody. We're up. Final run of the night. Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty from Tyler2022, PAL European Extreme. I have the go-ahead from him, so the reins are now in his hands. Do remember, this is TFA3, Irish Thunder, benefiting Raichu on his trip to GDQ to run MGS3. Please consider donating. Any and everything you can give is much appreciated. It's up to you guys now.
That's right. And remember, folks, fire extinguishers are very important mechanics in this game. So make sure to put out those fires. I am Plywood, and I am joined with Joseph Joestar 316. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. That introductory music was pretty catchy for that fire extinguisher thing.
Yeah, that's some good playing.
Yeah, but I'm really looking forward to checking out Tyler's PAL run, since I know he's run this quite a bit recently. But let's see. So I think he's requesting a text countdown. So I guess
that would be on Sergeant. So because he's the one flicking the. Actually, you know what? I'll do the text countdown. Are you ready, Sergeant, for hitting that number? I hope so.
Yes, I am ready to hit that number.
All right, so Plywood, take it away, I guess. All right, just for our viewers, so it's 3, 2, 1, 0.
Throwing you off. You're like, oh, he's gonna say go. Nope, I said 0. Count down to 0. Boom. Keep me on your toes, Tyler. That's the European Extreme way. Everyone, welcome to the final run of Tactical Fundraising Action 3. As I said, I'm Plywood. I have not run European Extreme PAL, but I've seen a bit of this run. And with me again is Joseph, and we are going to be commentating for Tyler's run here on the PS2 PAL version. So hold on to your butts, because we're going 50 hertz on this one, which changes quite a bit of this game, actually.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite a fun ride, in comparison to like the other versions where you got, HD collection at 60 FPS, then you got PC, which has its own set of like unique qualities, but then you got PS2 but PAL, and you might be wondering, well, why the PAL and why is it special? Well, in addition to the 50 hertz, like Plywood said, there's a few unique things you can do within Sons of Liberty itself, as well as a few things only unique to PAL itself, which we will hopefully see as Tyler traverses into the plant. But where I'm coming from, I mainly do European Extreme on HD Collection, but there are some common ground between HD Collection and PAL, but just minus a few things here and there that only available to PAL, or rather some things Tyler has to do because it's on PS2, such as Fortune, for example, where you would have to do the iframe SOCOM dodging, which not only looks cool, but it's actually probably a requirement if you want to survive on European Extreme, since boxing, doesn't really work as well on PS2 versus PS3 or Xbox for HD collection.
So coming up to Olga on PAL PS2, she actually always goes left, and Tyler was actually doing some tinkering around trying to figure out a good setup for this fight based off some new movements. So we'll see if he can get a good Olga here. He was theorizing that it has something to do with whether she reloads or not, whether you can get this manipulation. So we'll see how he does it here to manipulate Olga. Picking up both ammo packs, doing 2 punches, waiting by the boxes. Where's she at? Aw, there's the dialogue. Well, it was an interesting little setup that he was looking at some old videos of old PAL runs to try to figure out how can we get that consistent. It's neat to see this new setup with the 2 ammo pickups, though. And double punch, very interesting. I was only hearing him talk about it. I didn't actually see it until now. Even so, this is looking
he was
pretty
telling
good.
me earlier that he was going to try something different when it comes to Olga, but he didn't really allude to as to what that was.
Just need to get that one more shot, and then we're out of here. Okay, good. Sometimes you just have to roll with the punches in a marathon, and that's where Tyler's experience really comes into play when things don't go your way. And of course, Tyler will be going for Big Boss, as is the norm. With,
yeah, I was gonna say like yeah,
UX runs.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, knowing Tyler, like I think his goals is definitely not only to try to go for Big Boss, but I think he's itching for that PB, especially with this particular category.
Yeah, this has been a bit of his white whale, this PAL European Extreme run. He's been working at it for some time now. So, as we go deeper into the tanker, you're going to notice a few things if you've never watched this run before, such as Tyler rolling into load zones. That's just to speed it up a little bit. You don't want to roll all the time, but you do want to roll into those load zones. It does save a bit of time, especially when you're going up or down stairs.
Yeah, all these gunshots that you're seeing in the open is just to help bypass guards without, hurting them, but it's just mainly to trigger a radio event, and they can be easily manipulated. Considering that he's on Not Game Over if Discovered, which helps quite a bit in, running this game. Oh, I think he was double checking if he actually hit the radio or not.
I wanted to make sure that guy was going down.
Oh yeah, he's out. I wonder if he's gonna go for fast injury room here, since I know that's something he specializes in.
Something he wants to go for, but ooh, nice roll into that guard. That's a good start. Let's see if he can nail it though. It's a very tight setup. I think he got it. Yep. Very nice. That is a very tight window of execution to nail that.
So what you're going to see he's going to do here at the end is like he's going to shoot him in the back to divert him, while at the same time he's going to pass out while trying to trigger this call, which never gets out. And he does it for two reasons while going up there. One, it triggers the, I guess, detection, which will help bypass the cutscene leading up to the sensors, while at the same time helps disposes of the guard, without getting that alert on your way out.
That's right.
But yeah, to get that fast injury room that Tyler just did, it is a very tight window. I don't think I've done it once in my time running this game.
Two easy trank shots with the proper timing and a punch buffer to sneak by that music guard. There's pretty tight movement there too.
I think he's my favorite guard in the game. The music guy.
Everyone loves that guy. No one wants to hurt that guy. He's just rocking out to his tambourine music or whatever he's listening to. Tyler equipping the camera now. Nice. And we're going into the guard rush. Very important here to time out your shots properly and aim well so you don't get killed. And 3 shots and you're dead. And tries to go for a stun shot there. And that guy actually missed him, but that's okay. It's not about doing this super fast. It's about getting through it in a marathon situation. And sometimes, depending on when these guards show up, when they're moving into position, they're not actually going to be able to hurt you. But once they get into position, they can hurt you.
I think he's got one guard left, which is that one right there.
Oh, he's going for the roll. And now he has to do this weird setup that you have to do on Sons of Liberty. You gotta trank the first guard, then go for SOCOM shots on the last 2. And before they actually die, you'll fade out, so their deaths won't actually count. Because they haven't hit the ground yet and faded out, so...
Yeah, because it transitions so fast that the game doesn't register their deaths. Like, that's the big advantage to killing them right there. Well, you're killing them, but not really killing them.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. You succeeded, but the game doesn't count it as a kill. All right, so
Oh.
this is the ladder glitch, and game really doesn't like it when you equip
Oh,
the
no.
camera
Oh, he
and
soft locked.
jump the ladder. No, he recovered. He recovered. You
Oh,
can
he's back
recover
in.
this as long as you get back to that ladder, and
Okay, there he goes.
can be a bit jittery, you know. Now he's gonna be.
I think he might play safe and just go left.
Yeah, he lost so much time that the guard went on his
Yeah.
path, so he could just walk on by.
That was actually a really amazing recovery. You know,
Yeah.
just feeding off of what chat's saying here.
Yeah, a lot of people when they get into that situation, they panic and then it's just over. Oh man,
Ooh, that was really close.
that was bumpity bumpity.
I mean, for all those Marines, no, it could have just been the guy behind them that tapped their shoulder.
All right, so if you know about this game, there is a strat called the 2-spot camera, but you cannot do that in 4x3 on the PS2 version. So just go for the 3-spot variation, which is, I would say, a bit easier to execute anyways compared to 2-spot. And you can't even do 2-spot, so all's well that ends well on PS2. And that is going to conclude Tanker, everyone. We had some dicey moments, but Tyler strutted his stuff on the Tanker. I combined Tyler with Tanker. Tyker on the Tanker, Mr. Tyler. You did
Tiger
great.
strats.
Tyker strats. Tyker recovery strats.
You heard it here. You heard it here first, folks.
You beat the save boss. Well done.
Oh man, I can't tell you how many times I've hit yes on that prompt, knowing
It's really
better.
bad on PS3 as well. It's very slow if you have a bunch of saves. How many more times will his name be butchered throughout this run? It's not even a hard name, dude. I'm just like combining words. So I guess Tyker, now we're going into Thailand. Plier. I don't even know, man. But we're playing as Raiden now. Solid Snake is old news. And the new news y'all gotta be on your newsletters with is this cartwheel. It's gonna be faster in straightaways to cartwheel by a little bit. And cartwheeling in European Extreme is actually a really key component of some strats because cycles are that tight that you need to be able to know when to cartwheel and get that little bit of advantage in your movement speed.
Yeah, I guess the way to look at it is that like when Snake rolls, it actually slows you down by, you know, like several tenths of a second. I don't know what it is offhand, but whereas Raiden, it swings the other way where it can actually advance you by that's, you know, similar margin, which, yeah, depending on what some rooms and how he does them going in, they can be pretty tight if you want to be fast.
That's right. Another big advantage with the cartwheel is that you can literally just cartwheel down a set of stairs. If you try to roll down the stairs as a Snake, if you do too early, he'll just fall on his face. So go for that nut shot. Easy setup. The dock is fairly simple, especially when you're learning this run European Extreme. This is actually like a a lot simpler than some of the stuff you have to do in Tanker, let me tell you.
Yeah, but basically what he did there is like he goes to the guard in the, you know, lower right corner of the room, grabs him immediately as soon as he revives, does the nut punch, which then, while standing there, he baits the guy in the front, the one that does the radio call, while the guy in the left just patrols up and down. Give a little knock on the side while the guy on the right's focused on what happened to the dude in the back. Just wait for the elevator and you're on your way.
All right, so the starter plan is fairly slow, so I think we should talk a little bit about what we're going to be seeing due to playing on PAL. So a really big thing with PAL is because of the lower frame rate, Enemies and ciphers tend to be slower in terms of their routing. So if you stack this to, Sons of Liberty US, the guards are going to be in their, let's say they're trying to get to point B. They'll get to point B faster on NTSC, the North American release, or the Japanese release. And that actually opens up some interesting approaches on PAL, which I will try to mention as we move along. There's a few places. The biggest one is definitely the EF bridge.
Now, I also can't recall, but like, is guard visions also affected on PAL itself? Like, they don't see as far?
No, it's just European extreme vision. It's still European extreme vision. It's just that, like, if they haven't reached that point B and they can only see you at point B, it seems like they have worse vision, but they still have the same vision. It's just they tend to be slower.
Yeah, because I know, like you said, with EF bridge, it's a big advantage, as well as the connecting bridge getting into Shell 2 itself, where the ciphers actually follow a different pattern over, like the NTSC version, where normally on European Extreme, for something like this, you would have to commit a chaff or something to get in without being detected. But on PAL, because the ciphers follow a different pattern than the English version, you could just literally cruise on through without having to commit a chaff to it. It's just that little bonuses for like being on PAL.
Yeah, there's a few perks with running this version, with one massive drawback at the end of the run that yeah, we'll get to that. Most people know what I'm talking about, but for those who don't know, you're in for a treat. Okay, so we're going to be beginning the bomb disposal sequence, and this is arguably one of the hardest parts of the run on European Extreme, depending on what strategies you go for. Just a lot of complicated movement to go through these bomb rooms quickly.
I don't recall if Tyler mentioned what he was on, if it was either New Game Plus or Plus Plus. But for people wondering like how I was able to skip these cutscenes here, is because he's running on a New Game Plus file, which one of the benefits to running it, regardless if it's on PAL, is that you could skip the like 3-minute explanation of Stillman telling you like how to disarm the bombs.
There's no need to think about this so much.
Oh, except for that guard, he had to think about what he just heard.
He's like, oh, okay, processing. I gotta call this in.
I mean, he's surprised. It's like, hey, there's some dude running here shooting a gun. But yeah, again, you're just, he's using that SOCOM just to help with, guard manipulation.
Warning shots coming in hot.
Or I don't know. I mean, maybe you're just letting them know that you're coming. It's like, hey, watch
Look
out.
out.
I got a SOCOM and I know how to use it.
I know how to fire at the wall.
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I'm a VR trainee. I know how to fire bullets at the wall.
Okay, this is my second favorite guard of the game. If he's gonna do what I think he's gonna do.
Oh, of course he's gonna do it.
Oh, see you, fella. Plywood, was there a noise just now?
I didn't hear anything. I'm sure it was just the wind.
I mean, it wasn't the sound of that guy falling into the ocean. Don't worry, folks. He didn't die the death from the fall. He'll be back.
Okay, so this roof can be a bit tricky. You want to cartwheel at the correct angle for this guard, or else you're not going to be able to hold him up. Oh, he's trying to... Oh, he's going to reset the room. That's pretty smart. He doesn't really know how exactly to deal with this situation. He doesn't want to lose too much health, so that's a good call on Tyler's part. He's just like, forget about it. Let's just try again. This roof is just a challenging area to do properly.
Yeah, I think what he's trying to do is, like, as he cartwheels up, you want to stick him up while almost, like, rolling into him at the next moment, which I think he's going to... Yeah, I think he's going to play it safe with just the standard nut punch.
Yeah, ideally you don't go for the nut punch. Instead, you hold him up and cartwheel, and then he'll face away and just be held up while you freeze the bomb. So you don't have to worry about the nut punch, but it
Well,
can be a
speaking
bit
of
of trouble.
yeah, speaking of nut punches, we're gonna see it again.
Yep, the reverse groin punch and some coolant rising. Everyone's favorite little animation trick. And a nice little setup here to freeze the bomb from the wrong side. Just have to stand in the right spot and spray at the right angle. And coolant rising, you have to equip the coolant in first person, stand up, and then unequip, and you'll be standing up in no time. Saves about half a second or so every time you do it, which is
Yeah.
pretty important for strut E specifically.
Yeah, I mean, it really adds up when you're trying to cruise through these areas as fast as you can. You want to just get every second you could possibly get.
There's a nice thing. He's using a chaff there, and on other versions he wouldn't, but since you don't need a chaff later on, it's useful. You throw chaff here, doing the strut F setup where you throw chaff immediately.
Yeah, just a thing to note with the chaff itself is that chaffs detonate faster on PS2 and PC versions of Sons of Liberty or /Substance. But for HD collection, it does not detonate as fast. Okay.
So this is the level or area, excuse me, that I was talking about earlier. The ciphers move very slowly on PAL, so you can just run straight to strut E, which is not a thing you can really do on other versions of this game, or if you can do, it's extremely tight, way too tight for humans in general, but it's a cakewalk on PAL 50 Hertz.
Okay, so it looks like I'm all caught up now. Yeah, I think I was just slightly behind on what was going on.
For some reason we were getting behind of the Twitch stream. I was like, what?
Yeah, I was like, wait, what was going on?
So
Yeah,
this room is basically a long auto scroller. We have to accomplish a few things like shooting the cameras and such before we freeze that bomb on that box. Right, so coolant rise is going to be pretty important on the heliport here to get out quickly because the guard vision is pretty strong. So you have to make sure you freeze this bomb quickly and get out fast. Otherwise, you're going to have to do backup strats. Tranking him. Okay. That works. That works. And now cartwheeling down the stairs. Raiden always lands on his feet like a cat. No problems.
Yeah, it makes you wonder how Solid Snake didn't catch up to Big Boss's abilities of, rolling up and down stairs like in Snake Eater.
There's just some things that Big Boss just did better.
Well, I mean, he wasn't a perfect clone, so maybe that had something to do with it.
Yeah, there you go. There's some flaws. Nice little trick there by equipping the box after the holdup, and then the guard, once it sees the box, he just runs away. He won't actually shoot at the box, and that's a very nice thing given our HP value. All right, so strut D, if this is what I think it is, this is a very complicated room that
I think he's going to do it.
Yeah, this is the rap god. So I'm gonna have to try and trink this guard across the way. I think this is a fail.
Oof.
I don't know how this is gonna work out now. He's gonna have to improvise.
I think he might... Nope. Oh, he's going to keep going. I thought he was going to reset the room.
Yeah, we're gonna have a backup unit come. So I'm not sure how this is. I think they're gonna investigate the guards up top. He's gonna just focus on defusing the bombs, or freezing the bombs down below. Oh, we were late with the status report as well. Yeah, this is a pretty dicey situation. I don't know what's gonna happen, and to top it all off, you know, PAL 50, these guards are slower, so I don't even. There's like some serious calculations going on in Tyler's head, I believe, like, or just being like, let's just hope it works.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to add on to something, but it looks like he's just about to add up or finish up. But it's like, I can't tell you how many times I've gotten to Strut D where a lot of good runs go to die just from either doing it, you know, Tyler's method of carefully shooting the first guard, box manip into, you know, bridge, box manip, or just trying to, you know, cruise through as fast as you can, even if it's just, you know, sometimes I'll get caught in the last bomb even, like trying to get my way out. Here again, you see the box manip where again they just see the box, you know. I mean, and that guy's, you know, that guard's everyday life. He sees a guy with the box, doesn't know what to do, so it's just like it just nothing tells them to shoot, to attack it. They just run. Maybe they're just afraid of boxes. What do you think, Plywood?
I think there's just you know, something in their programming as humans. They're just like, I see a man in the box, I'm just gonna call it in, okay? Gotta call it in. Don't think about it too much. I need help, you know?
I mean, they weren't trained on how to deal with moving boxes.
That's right. All right, how many close calls have happened in this run so far? Can we count them up? We had Olga,
Ladder
the ladder,
glitch.
hole 2,
Yeah.
Strut A roof.
Strut D, so that's like 5?
We got 5. Tyler, you're making my blood pressure rise. I think but I mean, I can't even imagine. He's in the hot seat right now with this, still maintaining Big Boss despite it all. But boy, oh boy, like I said, bomb disposal is pretty rough.
Yeah, there you're just seeing a little misdirect with the M9, which is similar to what he did in the tanker engine room with just shooting the guy from the back, causing him to turn from the direction they got shot from, which if you time it carefully, they turn like as you pass them. Oh, there's our favorite bridge buddy. Oh, later, bridge buddy.
More wind noise. I'm not sure what that is.
I mean, what did the guy do? I mean, you know, he's just patrolling. He sees a guy, gets knocked off. He falls into the ocean, climbs all the way back up, and look what happens. He just falls right back into the ocean. It makes you not feel sympathetic for him.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, what else?
Joseph really feeling for these AI robots. You know, that's a good thing. Good on you, Joe. Good on you.
Somebody's got to care for him.
That's right. That's right. So Tyler holds select here to hit the earliest frame on this codec. You can do that with various codecs in this game, just to save a few frames. It's nice. You can't do that for all codecs, otherwise you'll open up the codec early and you'll just look like a goofball.
Yeah, they're particularly around, like, you know, loading sequences, either from a cutscene or during segments like when you go underwater for the first time and you just happen to hold it, stuff like that. But if they're like optional codecs and they pop up, or sometimes like a camera has to change first before the actual codec would appear, I've definitely made mistakes trying to preemptively open it, thinking it could be, but it doesn't.
You gotta have a good knowledge and memorization of what codecs are coming and what you need to do for them in this game. It's a minor thing, but it does help. All right, so Fortune. I hope you guys are ready to come to Lag City, where the frames are slow and the Fortune is pretty. Because, yeah, there's a lot of frame dropping on the PAL version here. He's going to do the pop-out strat because there's iframes while you're popping out, and they last for a really long time in this game. So it's a very nice technique to avoid taking damage, and it's very important as well that he emptied his clip before going into this fight. And why is that, Joe?
Well, it just helps set up for this pop-out strat. You know, it's easier to have no ammo, so you can just do this, tap a button, not worry about shooting at Fortune, which, if you had a shot, it would cause a little cutscene where it shows the bullet going around her, just losing that precious time.
That's right. So, the ammo routing and firing within the bomb disposal all leads up to this point. And once again, doing some pop-offs, pop-outs, and pop-offs for later on, right in front of Fortune.
But I do have to say, just doing this, whether if it's on PS2 or PS3, just earns you some swag points, if that's still a thing. I mean, there's always got to be a little swag in every run somehow.
Hey, just surviving this is good enough for me, dude. All right, so we're done with Fortune. He's going to pick up some ammo and spray at the ceiling as is customary.
You'll notice that he ended the fight just before that Kodak with a coolant, and the reason for that is because when you end a boss encounter like Fortune with your coolant as your remaining item, is that the next time you go to equip your item slot, it will then revert to whatever was your secondary from previous, which in this case would be his pistol.
Yep. And that's the next thing he needs. So that's a very weird thing about the menuing in the MGS2 engine. It holds true for Twin Snakes as well. You have to be kind of aware of like these little cutscenes affecting your menuing. Again, using the box to make the guard move away, and then he opens the door for you, which is quite nice.
Yeah, he's like, oh, wait, here, Mr. Boxman, let me open up the door for you.
I'm not ready for this. You could just leave. I was not trained for this.
See, I think he might do the same here. Yeah, there he goes. He's just going to do a quick couple shots, knock him out, which is going to bait a guy from downstairs while sticking him up, and then just leave before the call out comes out. Because again, part of that game knowledge is like not only being aware of like, you know, ammo management, inventory management, but as well as, I guess you could call just like guard management, like with radio calls, knowing which guards have like longer radio call outs over others, which can also help you and determine which guards can be manipulated the most because of that.
That's right. And that quick M9 shot, you need to hold L1 while moving and quickly tap R2 after shooting so you can quickly reload and stop the animation of cocking the pistol. Very important technique for certain rooms in the game on European Extreme. And now we're heading into Fat Man, which is another pretty big fight in terms of the PAL 50 Hertz situation, because there is a manipulation you can do with Fat Man on PAL. And the basic gist of it is he's going to keep on shooting at Raiden, and he'll basically be entering a stun lock where he's going to keep on shooting at Raiden rather than skating away. But you need to be very careful about your distance to Fat Man, because if you're not at the proper distance, he actually will skate away. So let's see how Tyler handles this. It's a bit tricky, but it's a nice thing you can do on this version.
Yeah, so you'll see if he did it right. He should shoot to his right, which he does. And then as long as your position is on point, he'll just keep repeating it until either he goes down or sometimes he can break away, like if it goes too far. For what I recall.
You can't let him get too close because...
Oh, no.
Oh, boy. Well, this is okay. He's fairly low. But yeah, you want to maintain this manipulation the whole time if you can.
Okay, so I think he's got maybe one more hit left.
Yeah, he's nearly done. Very good. All right. Nice recovery on Tyler's end.
Yeah, because as you could see, just even doing the loop and maintaining it, it's very position sensitive. You know, so even though he got it for, I think it was what, like maybe like 3 or 4 cycles, but just having to, because you do have to relocate towards the end of it. And if you're not on point with your relocation, that's where he could break off, which given that it happened, it was a pretty good recovery, all things considered.
Yeah, it's better for him to break off at the end than near the beginning. If you, for instance, if you missed the skate shot, that's a very key moment as well. If
Yeah.
you don't miss that skate shot. Um, Otherwise, then you're just kind of entering standard fat man play, which can be dicey on European Extreme. When he skates into you, he does a lot of damage. So just got to get out of the way, man. Get out of the way.
Yeah, those body bumps he does, they do hurt. You know, especially on, European Extreme. I think he could probably take maybe like 3 or 4 hits comfortably. I mean, not even 4, but just you want
I
to go
think
in
it's
with
3
max
hits
health.
at full HP or something
With,
along those lines.
well, for gunshots, it's 3, no matter what. But I think for Fat Man body bumps, you can take, which again, it kind of assumes. Now, in this case with Tyler, because he went in with 1 damage worth, where he was only at 66%, then yeah, you can't take more than a few. But if you go in at full health, for example, you could. If it did, I mean, it happens to me all the time because I just can't seem to find the guy when he gets away from me. But yeah, so it was a good fight all the same. But now here you're going to see use the box just to kind of help keep him in cover from that guy at the exit, which if you do get seen, not a big deal. You're already at the door. But I think he's going to chaff on his way out here, which he will to help get his way over to Strut F to get the AK. It's part of the requirement to get into Shell 1 B1 Core.
That's right. We are entering mid game, which has its own share of diciness and things that can go wrong. Do a little punch buffer here to avoid getting spotted by a guard as you go down the stairs. And then
Wow, that was actually a really good misdirect right there.
nice shot at the wall. That's what you want to distract the guard and make him look at the wall. And safely get out. Nice menuing, Tyler. Well done. He loves this mid-game menuing, by the way. He's a big fan, so it's nice to see him do it well. Okay, well, now we're entering Shell 1 core, and we've successfully disguised ourselves as the enemy. But we have to go pick up the D mic and then go rescue Ames, or at least attempt to.
Rescue, find him, kind of the same thing. I mean, we are trying to help him.
Ask him some questions, touch his mullet, the typical stuff.
Yeah, but no, it's like you say, there's always usually some kind of shtick that, when people run this game, like there's something about it that makes people excited about running it. Like you say, for Tyler, it's mid-game menuing. I think for D-Limes, it's with arrays. And I think for me, it's just not dying.
Yeah, I can share that sentiment.
I mean, just not dying to stupid stuff, like throwing your runaway. But no, it looks like he got out pretty easily with the D mic with that little squeeze there. I mean, it may not look like you can do it, but you actually can squeeze through the guards there ever so carefully. I think it saves you maybe like 1.5 to 2 seconds, depending on, how quickly you do it.
Gotta thread that needle. Get skinny.
So now you're going to see him. He's going to knock on the wall to bait a guy to come over, and he's going to ever so carefully punch buffer to line him up just right so that as he passes by, he just gets an instant grab right to the biometric scanner.
A very nice setup to get through very quickly.
Now I guess this is probably one of the biggest RNG elements of the run itself, which is particularly on New Game Plus or Plus Plus is Ames's placement, which, like I said earlier, because on New Game Plus, you not only skip the Stillman tutorial in Strut C, but as a consequence, you get a random aim spawn every run, which he's got a very generous corner, which is lower right.
Yeah, this is a pretty good spot, all things considered, because on European Extreme, if you get a really bad spot, you have to go for a backup glitch strat, or otherwise you have to wait for guard cycles, which can take a really long time to do safely. So that's a nice spot, all things considered. And for a marathon, I call that good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good runs that get, diverted here because of aim spawns, which, again, you would have to line up a punch with a kick while the D-mic on your kick and then just holding first person while spamming it to get aims. And even if guards look at you, it does work, but it's, it seems like the more times you don't have to use it, the better.
It's just a waste of time on top of having to go find him. So, but at least it's a consistent thing to do. All right, so we're gonna exit shell 1 core now, and key thing here is don't get shot too much, and don't get spotted by the backup unit, because if you do, that's an automatic alert, and that is big boss done. So
Yeah, so again, you see a nice little box manip, because you know that guard is going to be coming up towards the elevator, so you could just, line up that box accordingly. And then he's just going to run out to the right immediately, knowing that the guy on the left, or I'm sorry, on the right is going to be facing away. And, oh, very nice save on that SWAT guard by the doorway.
Oh, I'm going to say that's close call number 6. It's close call number 6.
Dude, that made me nervous seeing it. Okay, so again, you're going to see a nice little auto spray there of the Cypher. On the way out, he's going to do another one in first person, which he's got there, and then he's going to do a third one as he turns the corner. Or maybe not, since he's fast enough. But you can auto spray around that third if you had to. So now I think what he's going to do here is going to do another box spin up around this corner. And then he's going to shoot the radio. Okay, so a little late shot there, but it'll still work. So I guess that's close call number 7.
Yes. Let's say that's number 7. And now, he's going.
Yeah, nice little backup there.
Approach. Nice. Okay, so typically, if you're a coward like me, you would go immediately to the staircase and drop down from the rail. But he's like, nah, man, I got this. Look. I'm gonna equip the box, then I'm gonna cartwheel into the guy. I'm like,
there's nothing wrong with feeling cowardly when it comes to strut F, because it's nice to nobody. I mean, nobody likes going through there. The game doesn't like you going through there. It doesn't care if you're on a speed run. It's not fun.
All right, chat. Do we have any more predictions on how many more close calls we're gonna have in this run? I'm thinking we're gonna get we're gonna hit a dozen.
Yeah, I was probably gonna say a dozen might be out there, because I mean we are coming up to Harrier, which is nothing but close calls.
Close call town. We were talking about Lag City earlier. Now we're going to close call town. Oh, he's gonna wait out the caution. That's smart. So this is because the backup guards can come and spot you as they're leaving. So he's just saying, look, I'm gonna wait it out. I don't need to take this risky. Let's get that big boss.
Yeah, because see, normally, like, as you would approach that doorway during a caution, there is a SWAT guy off to the left side of that screen. And, if you run out before you get to that door comfortably, then, like you say, it's an instant, rip big boss in any case. So sometimes it's just better to wait it out than try to risk it going for the door with the caution running out. And then knowing Tyler, he's just going to pistol nearly everything, because that's just what he likes to do here.
Yeah, that's his jam. And let's see how he does with his jam, how it's going to spread on that bread. It looks like it's spreading on that bread pretty well.
Ooh. Okay, there he goes. Yeah, it was just a little bit off on the flag bomb.
A little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, a little bit up. And now to not hit the Cypher.
Oh, jeez.
That wasn't that close, but every time I see anyone aim at the Cypher, I just get super nervous.
Yeah, people that watch my runs know how much I hate those Cyphers. I blow them up almost too many times. Because, again, their hitbox is going to be a little deceiving. All right, so I think he might attempt a 5-hitter with the Harrier.
That's right.
So he's going to go 3, 4 on the turn, and then 5 on the way out. And there's the 5-hit, so very nicely done.
And not
And
too
then-
bad when there's all this lag. You can set up your shot a little bit easy compared to a PZ or something where it's just going blazing fast. And hopefully the plane flies nicely here. It looks like it is.
And then I was going to try to line up a you know, like cutscene specific timing with a carpet bomb shot, which if he does it right, which he did, what it will do then is that as you go to fire while skipping the cutscene, like as the missiles first drop, as you visually see them drop, and as soon as you skip it and fire, it will lock onto the Harrier, even though it's off screen, but the cursor will still find them, and then allows you to squeeze in not one, but actually 2 shots during that sequence.
It's a very nice little trick, those die shots. And do a pop-off shot. Pop-out shot. Call it pop-off shot. Pop it off!
I mean, he's popping off on the Harrier. I mean, go
He's
for it.
popping off. I mean, this is actually going really well, folks. And this is arguably the hardest fight in the entire game. So I think he's actually gonna. Oh, it missed.
Yeah, yeah, a little miss on the first
He
one.
could have finished before missiles started flying, but even so, like,
I think he's gonna clean it up here.
he's gonna clean up fine.
Yeah, just a little unfortunate on the first shot, which, yeah, depending on how it locks on and which way the Harrier likes to wave around, it can sometimes lock on, it can otherwise miss. Because, I mean, ideally you want to end it just before, or at least right around when that missile barrage starts. You know, because even then you can see it's Lag City on PS2.
All right, and now to cartwheel and have faith in our jumping.
Ooh.
Who said
Yeah.
Metal Gear didn't have platforming? This game has so much platforming, by the way.
Oh, it absolutely does.
And now for the part that always makes my heart pitter patter, which is he's gonna have to play this safe now because that is
Yeah, okay, so that's close call, what, number 8?
yeah, it's number 8. Well, I don't know if it's a close call. I think we should commentators curse this because this is.
I would count that as a close call. Oh! Jesus!
Okay. Spamming. He's like, this is not what I want.
God, but what is this? What are we seeing right now?
All right, I'm
dude?
counting that as 2 close calls.
Yes. All right, we're tallying it up to number 10. That's or no, number 9.
I think that's 9. Yeah.
Yeah, that's 9 close calls.
That's
Dude,
2.
I am just sweating watching this. I'm not even playing with what I'm seeing.
Oh.
All right, so here he's gonna do a little side knock, which is gonna just.
I don't even know if we should say what he's doing. It's just like we're gonna be like, all right, he's gonna do this, and then like disaster, boom.
No, we gotta have faith, Plywood. That's how this keeps going. We just gotta believe in what could be the best. All right, so here's this is just gonna be a nice advantage of PAL, what I mentioned earlier, which is the cipher placements and patrol patterns are different. Where normally on your EOUX on English, you would have to commit a chef to bypass this area safely. But since
they're
he's
just
on
so
PAL,
slow. They're
yeah.
really, really slow. So you could just waltz on by.
Also, a little fun fact when entering this area is that I believe that if you enter in with the BDU equipped, it actually slows your rundown with loads.
Yeah, and apparently that's also true for the hostage room.
Yeah, for
Supposedly
whatever
that's a
reason, it
new
just
discovery.
likes to lag your game when you have the BDU on.
Something about like Raiden being in cutscenes with the BDU equipped just really chugs it. So you want to unequip the BDU before entering Shell 2 core. We equip it for its slight camouflage properties around guards when you're cartwheeling and stuff, but
Oh, here's
really
a
don't
fun
want it.
treat for being on PS2, which is this elevator swim glitch.
I don't know, we're
So-
avoiding swimming entirely, and yeah, you just go prone and press triangle, and you're out of bounds, and Now you're walking through this area. You still gotta be careful though, because if you run into those claymores, you'll still die. So
Yeah, I mean, you might be out of bounds, but you're not invincible to the mines. But again, it's just a nice little advantage to just for being on PS2, just due to the 50 hertz on how the game operates over HD collection being on 60, where that glitches. Well, there's a different way of swim glitching that area, which I would rather not talk about because people don't want to do it.
and we don't have to do it on PS2 Soul, which is a huge benefit of running this release.
Well, Tyler says that he does it, but if we don't have to do it, I won't do it, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. I don't care what anybody says. No, I'm just joking. No, it's just on HD collection. There's a different strategy on how to swim glitch it, and it's not only time prone to loss if you don't get it on your first cycle, but if you don't do it properly, it can actually soft lock your game, and then yeah, game over, man.
Oh, you can get soft locked easily with that out of bounds on Soul if you don't know where you're moving, because there's certain ways where you could just fall and get stuck, and then you have to drown yourself. It's not a good scene. Oh, by the way, the president got manipulated there by shooting the wall with the stinger, so that's why he will dodge the Nikita missile as he does, which is good.
Man, Johnson dodges the missiles better than I could. I'm just saying.
Too bad he can't dodge this sudden disease he's gonna have.
Don't worry. We can't really get attached to Johnson because sooner, before you know it, we're skipping through, and then he just suddenly dies to death.
He dies to the death. That's right. Okay, so he's gonna do that out of bounds trick one more time to get to Vamp, and then we're going to see his punching skills on display against Vamp to non-lethal Vamp, even though he doesn't die. But the game counts as a kill if you try to lethal him, so we have to punch him.
Yeah, Vamp is just... he never dies.
Except to his one weakness, needles and injections.
I don't know. I can't really blame him. I mean, needles can scare the hell out of me sometimes.
Duly noted.
I'm just saying. I mean, I just don't like...
yeah, man, I totally get it. It's
just whenever I go to get my shots, I fear the needles. Okay, so here's that swim glitch once again. Just being on that PS2 50 hertz, and it looks like he's got it. Yeah, you have to go up the stairs and then back down to enter back inbounds.
Yeah. It looks a bit goofy, but it's all part of the plan. Nice use of the coolant rise to stand up quickly. There's different ways to get into bounds, depending on what approach you use. PPKs, cartwheels, that sort of thing. Anywho, we're gonna fight Vamp here, and I can't imagine doing this fight Big Boss without this trick, because it must be a real pain in the butt.
Oh yeah. Yeah, fighting this guy casually on European Extreme will break controllers easily.
But instead, we're going to break his AI into constantly counterattacking, and we're just gonna wear him down. Thing is, though, that knife is a one-hit kill, so you gotta be very careful that you don't run into the hitbox for that, and it is much larger than you think it is.
So it looks like he's sticking it safe by sticking to like 6 to 7 hit punch cycles.
Yeah, you can go to like 8, but...
Yeah, I mean, 8 is the maximum you could possibly do. Like, I normally go for 8 on HDC. I mean, it's pretty wide. But going for anything above 8, and you're gonna die. I mean, because by the time you even get the 9th hit, Vamp is already turned around, and you're gonna get hit. But pretty clean fight.
I agree. This Shell 2 has actually been pretty clean. aside from the
bridge. Those two
oh
cars
the
on down.
that bridge. Thankfully that's in the past. We're moving past that. We're only at close call number 9. So let's see if
And
Tyler
then
will match
yeah,
my prediction of 3 more. We'll see.
yeah, and just like Tyler, he's gonna bypass the body armor, which is off to the other side of that hallway underwater. It saves about 6 seconds if you decide to go for it and then swim back. But Tyler, he regularly skips the armor on all of his runs. It's a risky strat for Rays, but if you play perfectly, then you don't need it. But I don't know, unless if you're a coward like me and you do need the body armor, then I just always pick it up.
It's definitely the thing to do for most people, I think, because it's just not only does it gives you a bit of armor, but it's also like psychological armor. You don't feel as vulnerable.
It's like those comfort blankets. It's like once you wear it, you just
feel
safe.
Snuggie,
Yeah, exactly.
Here's my Snuggie armor. Even though it like barely does anything, like you're still gonna die super quick. But hey, at least I could take a shot during Rays. Well, all right.
I don't think Tyler's gonna. Well, I don't know how safe the Emma bump is to do on PS2. On PS3, it's like suicide. Like you don't even want to think about doing it.
Yeah, you don't want to do it on HD collection. It's safer on PS2. I mean, I think you can still soft walk regardless, but it's less common.
Let's see. Well, on HD collection, to answer in chat, like the reason why you don't do it is because since you're on the higher FPS, and if you don't set it up properly, you have a higher failure rate where she can soft lock and just fall into the ocean.
Yeah, I don't honestly know how exactly it works, but it's just a strange thing where she falls through the floor and then she's stuck in the water.
Yeah, he's going to surface to pick up the PGS-1T, which up until now, it's like, oh, here's a PGS-1T.
PGS-1T?
Yeah, the T.
No, I know the T, but the PGS-1. It's PS2
Wait, did I
one.
Wait, Oh, man, I did it again.
I'm like, man.
It's been a long day, people. You gotta cut me some slack.
This game is rated PGS1. There you go. This stream is rated PGS.
Okay,
Boom.
so what did we have earlier? So we had the
Tiker.
Yeah, the Tiker and the PGS one. So there you go. We're even.
Yeah, that's right. We're 1 for 1 on that one. Pay no attention to Emma. She's fine.
I mean, he's just squeezing the seawater out of her. It's fine. No Emmas were harmed in the making of the speed run. Well, until later.
Well, you almost drowned her there. Let's be real here.
Oh, she's fine. See, she's walking. Well, she's kind of walking, but I mean, she's up.
She's moving along with our help.
Yeah, so here Tyler's just gonna follow a specific, hugging of the walls while holding Emma, closely behind. It's easier than trying to deal with the guards individually, while trying to, bring Emma out of shell 2. And then here's just gonna take out these 2 guards quickly. And now I'm wondering what he's gonna do for this last guard at the exit, which could be done a few different ways. But I think he might opt to just do, just a safe headshot. Now the question is he gonna Emma bump?
I don't know about this.
No, he's playing it safe.
He's just like, let's move on. let's not roll the dice anymore than we've already done.
I mean, considering the the flashback horror of that bridge, I mean, I wouldn't blame him to not, be like, yeah, you know what, I'll save the Emma bump for another run.
Yeah, and anytime someone tempts it, I've tempted it on this channel, other people have, and, sometimes it works, and sometimes you get Pythonicus. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, so here you're seeing him use the chaff right as he gets to the midsection of the bridge, which does 2 things. Stops all the ciphers, it stops any outgoing calls, for backup to come in, as well as the, well, guard that's above Shell 2, which is kind of stuck in a very peculiar situation, which if you were to turn around, which I don't think Tyler's going to do here, but if you were to turn around, the guard that's patrolling above Shell 2 by the railway, he's kind of stuck because he sees you, tries to call for help, so the AI mechanic tells him to run away and call for help, but if you were to turn around with the scope and turn around, you just see him just kind of jacking in place. It's kind of hilarious, actually. I mean, he's trying.
He's trying.
I mean, he's just kind of stuck between, well, a rail and, I don't know, some other place.
A rail and an AI routine.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Okay, well, now we're to the nice chill part of the run. If anyone needs to use the bathroom or, grab a snack, this is the time to do it because there's not a whole lot going on during the Emma sniping sequence. Just some shooties to the claymores and the ciphers and the dudes. Just, standard stuff.
It's your run, Tyler.
Can you use the bathroom? Oh man. I mean, you could pause the run, but I mean, look, you need to use the bathroom. We won't blame you. I get it. We all have that need. Shoutouts to the red thermo goggles on Sons of Liberty. Love it.
I was gonna ask you like which thermals you prefer, the red or
this
the
100%. The other goggles are really bright and kind of distracting. I like the reds.
Really?
Oh yeah,
I'm actually in favor of the HTC goggles personally. Oh,
hey,
Rip Siegel.
We can't all have good opinions, but hey, I appreciate you nonetheless. All right.
I mean, I could have said something else, but I'm just saying,
Hey, you're being honest. I appreciate that. All right, you just gotta trank these guys appropriately. Not have Emma get spotted. If Emma does get spotted, that doesn't count as you getting spotted, but it is a waste of time, so we'd rather not have it happen. It'd be really annoying if that did count as an alert against you, though. That'd be...
Oh,
that'd be
yeah,
rough.
that even if you're from just like a casual point of view, that would seem overly punishing. I think he's gonna try for that, that ever so elusive mind behind that pillar there. I call it something else, but I'm trying to keep it PG. I know I said the rifle name wrong, damn it.
Keeping it PGS1. That's right.
Yes, PGS1. Trademarking it.
MPA, hit us up for your new rating.
It's the sniping section, folks. We're trying our best. I mean, there's really not a whole lot going on other than just tranking a few guards. Maybe a few seagulls might get harmed in the process, blowing up mines, and just keeping an eye out for incoming ciphers.
That's right.
Silent knows what I'm talking about.
At some point,
keeping it PGS1.
That claymore will be blown up. At some point. I say it because I have seen it happen on this channel that people have forgotten a claymore, and it is the most heartbreaking thing in the world.
Oh, it's happened to me on my runs.
Yeah, it's rough. Like, I think if that happened to me during a stream, I think I would just say, I'm done. Bye, guys. I'm gonna go take a walk.
Yeah, I'm going offline, guys. See you later. No, it is very demoralizing to lose your run to the mines there. Just saying from experience. Oh, no. Okay, so we got a little bit of a situation in the middle bridge. So, you should be able to recover, but it is going to be, pretty significant time loss. Which, in addition to not only losing time, but what it can also do, that it will throw off not only some certain guard cycles, but cipher patrol cycles as well, which I think in this case, since it was happening near the middle bridge, he should be fine. But sometimes if it happens earlier and Emma gets held up, sometimes a cipher that comes in per script, which then show up that you would have to know from experience that it's going to be there, that you would have to address it. But I think in this case, yeah, he should be fine. There's only, I think, 3 ciphers left he has to deal with.
The other thing that could happen is if she loses too much health, you might run some risk during Vamp 2 that she dies if you're not playing well, so...
Oh yeah, it's another one from experience that, yeah, I've lost. Well, actually, no, I was probably already losing a run, and then I just happened to make it worse by hitting Emma one too many times during the spray. Okay, that should be the final guard of the sniping section, and I think all he's got to do is address that cipher plus another one coming from the middle post or middle pillar section, as well as the one in the upper right, which I'm actually not sure if he addresses that one or not, but yeah, I think he's having some fun, even though he's saying 8 hours is not going to be enough to sleep off this stressful run. I mean, well, I wouldn't blame him for saying that. I mean, we're already up to 9 close calls already. I mean, there might be another one coming up for all we know.
You got a chalkboard to keep tally.
I mean, we do have the Tengus coming up, which, I mean, on any run that I do, it always scares me, doing Tengu 1 especially.
Epilepsy warning, by the way.
I think, did we fail to get that disclaimer out before we started this run?
Yeah, well. Thankfully, the red is fairly dark. Hey, watch out spamming so much, Tyler. You'll break the big boss score shot requirement, which is the strangest requirement about big... Actually, that is not the strangest requirement. The strangest requirement for big boss is you can't kill too many machines. It's just like, what is with all these weird requirements for big boss in this game? I really don't know. They're just like, let's just go with everything, you know?
Yeah, the reason why I emptied out his PSG1 clip is so that it'll spawn the ammo box so that it's easier to find and then position yourself on top of, since as you spam it, it will respawn on top of you and then just automatically reload your gun. And then all you gotta do is just spam away, which, very, very nicely done on Tyler's end there.
A nice trick there with the ammo setup.
It does, Sergeant. Yeah, anything she get hits by is damage. Even his tranquilizers, which is kind of odd, but, I mean, they don't really give her a stamina bar, so I guess maybe they just assume that you're... Well, I mean, you're not trying to really hit Emma to begin with, unless you just, hate her for some reason. But yeah, they never programmed a stamina bar, so I guess any damage she takes is just lethal damage. Oh, here's our headphone guys again.
Well, after getting stabbed, getting tranquilizered, it's probably not going to help you out too much. Can't imagine that helps with the bleeding. Anyways, I'm gonna wait out for the cipher to move and then let the chaff explode. And then cartwheel past these panels that we dropped earlier when we were exiting Shell 1. And we're coming into Arsenal gear, which is the non-sleepy portion of this run. We have a lot of things to talk about and some challenging parts as well.
As well as potentially adding to our growing list of close calls.
Yeah.
But actually, for reals though, it's like whether if it's on PAL, PS2, or even just HDC, PC, like Arsenal gear, at least for me and onward, is always like the most intense part of the run. It's where really, it could kind of segue in, a couple of different directions. Particularly with Tengu 1, which is where I've seen a lot of good runs, go the other way, myself included. And I'm sure Plywood, I don't know if you had any rough experiences with Tengu 1.
Yes. When I was going for Big Boss on Soul Extreme, I've lost runs at various points in Arsenal gear. It's quite easy to do, and on top of it all, The PAL Tengu one's a little bit different in terms of the timing and approach you want to do, so. Oh, and by the way, the final boss of this game is actually no joke on European Extreme PS2 because he does tons of damage, unlike on later releases where they nerfed him, so it's gonna be a fun time, folks. Stick around.
I got my close calls counter ready.
Yeah. Well, if he only has 3 close calls, honestly, that was a pretty good arsenal gear in a certain way. So, but let's see if he can nail it. The start of this is just some cutscenes, but we don't have much time to waste until we have to go streaking.
Olga, you can't keep this up. They're bound
Not
to
before
find
we
you.
get a parting
Listen,
shot from
I'll free
Olga.
you in a little while. Brace yourself.
Add insult to injury to what she did earlier in this run. So we're going to call Rose, and that's because eventually she'll just call you if you do nothing. But if you call her, then you'll do the required talk that you need to do with her. So.
Yeah, because I think it just will sit on a timer for like, I don't know, like how many seconds, like where just you automatically get the call, but you could just call conveniently, like on your, well, somewhat of a, relaxing massage table.
He must be feeling real cold in there, though. Especially in Arsenal. You can see his breath. So, very important here that you hit that codec as early as possible by holding select so you can cartwheel past this Tengu. And now is the...
Yeah, you got the frame-specific call here, which is really hard to do.
Yeah, you gotta watch his knee rise. That's the visual cue to hit that codec. And this is where he's gonna go past the camera before it scans back and do that jump. And that is a very tough cartwheel to land. You need to cartwheel early enough. And get out before this Tengu sees you. All right, fantastic.
Well, the
So that's
question is,
challenge 1.
even if he does see him, does he really want to see him, though? Considering Raiden's current, state of being.
I don't know. I don't know how that Tengu is personally, since I've never talked to him. Since these are all AI robots in a video game, but if I could ever sit down and have a chat with that Tengu, I'll let you know, folks.
Yeah, so now he's just sitting here in the long hall. Say answer. I think it's 6 messages before you get the one from Rose.
Yep, and you need to be in a certain range in this tunnel in order to get that call. You need to be far enough up, but not too far up. These are the things I loved from learning this speedrun, because there's a lot of things like at the end of the game that are like this tunnel, for instance. If you play this casually, you're just like, what am I supposed to do? And if you're not in the right spot, you're just going to be stuck, being confused.
Mind if I throw a quick donation in during this sword train?
Oh, yeah, go right
absolutely.
ahead.
We have a $2 donation from Stealth saying, I need scissors 61. Thank you, Stealth.
That's perfect, because we got $1,061. Well, nicely done.
Yeah, and then one thing you noticed that Tyler did while he's waiting in this training is that when you get the high frequency blade, that you have to swing the sword at least once to initiate, the invisible timer, which, casually you could just be, waiting around just, wondering what to do. But if you don't swing the sword at least once, I mean, you could just be stuck there, literally until you swing that sword. And you got to be in the upper section of the hallway too.
Yeah, I've lost time to that at one point because I
actually did that too. I was wondering, like, dude, why am I was looking at my splits. I'm like, wait,
taking so long
here? Like, what's going on? All right, here comes probably the scariest part of the run, which is Tengu 1. So definitely hold on to your butts. So he's gonna throw a stun, going to box while letting that blow up, and okay, it took oh boy.
Oh yeah, that guard shooting him was just.
Are you all right?
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is a very delicate situation at Tengu 1, and Tyler knows it all too well. And pretty much anyone who runs European Extreme, like, it is just not a simple area.
Ooh.
The timing of the throws
Wow,
gotta
that
be
shot in the
just
back.
precise. And
Okay.
then cover his
Okay, so
tracks
I
with these
think he-
stuns.
Okay, so there you go. So he's just gonna clip through the door, which works, I think, because the door didn't program a card key check. I think is how it is. Like you could, while laying flat against it, you could punch, kick, and on the kick, you turn the camera right into the door. And since the door doesn't have a card key check, you could just literally clip right through it. And now you're gonna see. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, this is the PS2 Tengu 2 skip. You can do this on later versions, but it just doesn't work super well. It's not as consistent. You're just gonna cool in all the guards and you can join the coolant party. This is the fun part of the Tengu sequence.
You know, we're actually doing the Tengus a favor here. I mean, because you're sparing the Wrath of Snake, you know, basically killing everything in sight, and they gotta be sweating in those Tengu suits, so he's just giving them a nice breeze.
Everyone do the Tengu dance. Wave your hand in front of your face and hold your sword at your side. If you got a sword, be careful with it and hold it to your side. Yep, just wave that hand back and forth, back and forth.
I'm using a remote as my substitute sword since I don't have one.
The Wiimote sword right there. Boom. And that's it. That's Tengu 2. Another great thing about running the Sons of Liberty version right there. Okay, so we are now gonna fight the Rays.
Bump, bump, bump.
Yep. And Rays on PS2, there's a lot of lag, so you got to compensate for that a bit. And, well, you got to fight the equivalent of 20 Rays. And Rays, well, Tyler has no body armor, so anything the Rays do, unless it's a stun, like they stun Tyler by stepping, anything else will kill him immediately, so.
Yeah, at this HP with no body armor, he can't take any damage. I mean, yeah, really the only thing that can't kill him is if just he gets knocked over from being, you know, imbalanced from a Ray getting too close when they jump on stage.
Yep, so during this fight, we'll be explaining the various mechanics and aspects of the Rays. There's a fair bit to go over, enough to go over that we can cover everything within this fight, so here we go. Metal Gear Rays on MGS2 PAL. The opening of this fight is pretty important. We want to get some quick shots off and be in a proper position so we can manipulate their attacks and get close enough to do some good shooting. So the closer you are to your target, the less travel distance the Stinger has to go. Seems pretty simple, but that's a very key component of doing this fight quickly. You'll notice that Tyler will be trying to hit the open mouth, and that does the most damage. You don't have to do the open mouth shot the whole time, but you need a couple of them at least.
So here I think he's going to attempt to loop the Rays depending on how they're set up, which I think, given like how he hits them and what order, you can actually like loop the Rays where they continuously, you know, build up around this corner. One will jump on stage at a particular time, which, from my understanding, is that the Ray with the lowest HP nearest to the stage at the time will actually be the one to jump on stage, so that you can, you know, anticipate which Ray is going to come up next. And also important is keeping an eye on your ammo count for the Stinger. You know, nothing worse being in this particular instance than lining up a shot with a Ray and you just hear a click.
Yeah, that is how you get out of the manipulation. So it may seem like chaos, but there is a method to this madness in terms of how you pace out who you shoot at. Basically, you just want to keep the rays occupied until one of them jumps on stage. That way, you can keep them where you want them, and you're firing very close to them.
Oof. Oh, I got a back leg on that one on the right there. Yeah, that sometimes happens. What I mean by back leg is that the stinger will land in the back of their leg, which causes the ray to turn and face their open head away from you, so that really makes them, untargetable for critical damage. Oh, got a nice little double hit there with that knee shot.
All that beautiful lag.
Oh, yes.
If you thought Fortune was Lag City, welcome to, like, Lag World and the Ray fight. So, one thing to mention as well, sometimes the rays can act a bit strange when they are on the outside. They could actually laser you when they really shouldn't do that at all. And if that actually connects, that's just death straight up.
Yeah, I mean, most times when you see the, mini burst or gun, which is usually what you will see, where they just kind of, arm it, and then they just quickly shoot, and then they close the head again. But usually if you keep your distance in this corner, most times you are safe, but it's that one time where you have to get, closest to the stage for whatever reason, and your back is turned while they do it. I mean, it can kill you. I've actually had it happen to me more instances than I would like to count, especially when it's a dead ray where you've actually killed it, turn around, address a ray that's opposite from where you're facing, and the dead ray actually arms a water cannon and kills you with it.
Yeah, it's really frustrating when a ray you thought is finished actually is the one that kills you. Pretty counterintuitive.
And then also one of the biggest advantages to doing this loop itself is that you minimize the amount of missiles. Missiles is the one thing you never want to have during this race, whether if it comes from the back or especially from the knees, meaning the one that's on stage and you're too far away to trigger either a machine gun attack or a water cannon attack, which it will do knee missiles. And I don't know about you guys, but the knee missiles scared the heck out of me.
Yeah, knee missiles are very dangerous to deal with. So you minimize a lot of the things that could lose you time or kill you outright. But again, you have to be able to maintain this method and know how to approach it. You got to keep it to a science, And Tyler's actually doing pretty well so far. We're cleaning up the rays pretty quickly, entering the E series fairly shortly.
Yeah, I think he's got. Give me 3 rays left.
Mm-hmm. Whoa,
Yeah.
boy! Get off the stage, please.
Just a little stompy stomp.
That's what I was talking about. There's the one attack that won't kill you, just knock you down. But sometimes that knockdown will actually be the thing that kills you because you'll try to get up and then immediately get killed. So
Yeah, it's what I refer to my run as a wombo combo, where it's like it will land on stage, it will knock you off your balance, but while it physically touches you, you're dead because you get splat. And there's really not much you can do about it other than just, looking back and saying, hey, I should have been in this position and not in that position. But here he's finishing up the rays, and I have to say that was actually fairly well done. A little chaotic at the beginning, but again, it may look stressful. I know I saw somebody say that earlier, but when you keep it to a looping method and you maintain it, it's actually fairly, less chaotic than you would think. But again, it comes with lots and lots of practice.
Okay, so this is the infamous mash sequence of this game. On PAL, we're going to be mashing for over a minute. And oddly enough, if you do look at Snake, this will take longer, which seems very strange. Some people have said, oh, it's easier if you look to the left, but actually the length of time takes longer, which may be due to a frame rate thing. But yeah, you have to maintain about, I think it's like 7 presses a second, something along those lines, which sounds really fast, but the reality is more than mashing, you need to pace yourself out. You don't want to like over mash at the start. This is an endurance test, not a sprint. So you got to be careful on your mashing here to maintain it. Tyler actually uses a DualShock 1, I believe, so there's no pressure sensitivity that can screw up your button presses. That way, whenever you press the triangle button, it's definitely a press. And just look at Daddy and mash the pain away.
That's actually a good way of putting it, because looking at that O2 bar just scares the heck out of me. Well, I guess according to Tyler, it's the easiest mash of his life.
Tyler's very good at mashing, though. But on top of it all, we have Solidus, and Solidus really isn't a joke on PS2. On the HD collection, they nerf Solidus into the ground on European Extreme. Like, he barely does any damage, but oh, he can kill you very easily on PS2, especially if you lost HP during the choking sequence. His attacks do a lot of damage, so you still got to be a bit cautious here, even though this fight overall is easier than the Rays in terms of execution and stress, but it's the end of the run, so you want to do it right.
I don't recall if on PS2 if having the body armor even matters, because his damage is so high. Like, does it actually block any of it?
I don't know. I'm not sure if I can say for sure, but I do want to be able to equip the BDU to put out fire if it ever you ever catch on fire. Anyways, the technique here is to go to his bad side where the eye patch is, slash him, and then return to the other side. Oh, wait, no. I'm thinking this is normal. Excuse me. We're going to be punching him, not slashing him, because that is a lethal strategy. So we're going to punch him.
Yeah,
And
so what he's
slash
going to do is just, yeah, like you said, he's just going to start off with a block kick and then purposely bait out an attack, which by default, the programming will tell him to do a counterattack kick, you know, based on like your position and what your action is. And then what he's going to do is just rinse and repeat a series of punching on his blind spot, doing two blocks, which will then trigger out another kick while again advancing to his blind spot. And you just basically rinse and repeat this while maintaining it virtually throughout the entire fight until, well, either, yeah, you get to phase 2, and then once you hit phase 2, he'll zip around, and then depending on what he does, you just, you know, maintain it again. And so it looks like he got through into phase 1 pretty cleanly.
Yep, and he knew when to finish him off rather than doing another rinse and repeat, so well done on that. You don't want to see Solidus ever attack you. That's pretty much the deal here. As long as Solidus never attacks you, this fight looks easy and simple and not risky, but if you ever do fall out of the cycle here in terms of your repetitive punching, then the fight gets a little bit scary on PAL European Extreme. The thing you really got to combat here, especially when you're in these corners by the edge of the area, is the camera. It can be very weird moving.
Yeah, depending on where you got him pulled up, I mean, the camera can actually be your enemy. Ooh, okay, so there's the first hit. So it looks like, okay, yeah, he's gonna zip around, so he might go, yeah, just a little quick reset here. You know, maintain, just reset the loop and try to reinitiate it, so which looks like he's gonna do. And I think he's got another cycle left. Okay, oh, there it is. Okay, maybe just a little behind again. But yeah, that actually wasn't too bad. Just the one hit.
Time. If you haven't
yeah,
hit
that's
the
time. Yeah, that was our bad.
Do you remember?
It's okay. We're so engaged with the tactical fundraising action. We just lost track of the time.
I remember now.
But I think that's a final tally of, I think it was nine close calls.
Yeah, 9 close calls. You know, if we could, I guess we could add +1 just because it's Rays. You know, anytime you play Rays on European Extreme, it's a close call. So,
I mean, yeah, I guess we can go out there. We could just round it up to a nice 10. How about that?
Nice 10.
So I guess if Tyler wants to say a few words,
I think
I think that'd be great. Unless if Silent, you had something to say before that.
No, sir. Final time was a 127. It says 13, but it was probably closer to 11.
You okay over there, Tyler?
No. No, I'm not okay. I mean, I am okay that I finished the run, but that was like the most stressful I've ever done in my life, and I only had one continue, which is remarkable, but my god. Hold on, I have another bottle next to me.
Are those your stress relief bottles?
Yes. Okay, I drank like half of it, like 1.5 bottles. Okay, but yeah, that was weird. And the really unfortunate thing is that for the Tengu one, like both of those guys did not get stunned, because if like one of them got stunned, like you saw, I could just walk up on ahead and I'd be fine, because I had studied Tengu 1 for like a good couple days straight trying to figure out this stupid fight. And yeah, if I got body armor, I definitely would have made it, but I was already so far behind and I just didn't want to grab it because I never grab it anyway, so I just figured may as well go with it, because I really only need it for that fight, because like Raise, I don't expect to ever take machine gun damage, so.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really blames you going in for Tengu 1, even just as a, considering, the things that happened, and plus, it's really unlucky, just even if it's on PAL, or even just on any version, whether if you get the stun to go off on all 6, or sometimes they'll go on 4 of the 6, 5 of the 6, and it's just overly frustrating. And I was just saying to our viewers that a lot of runs, even mine and anyone that runs the game, it experiences difficulties at Tengu 1. I don't know why it does, but it just does.
All right, but yeah, that is MGS2, everyone. Do we get confirmation if Raichu is awake? I know it's pretty late over there.
I don't think he's awake.
Okay, so yeah.
He's asleep. So that's been MGS2, as Tyler said. We're going to swap to a short intermission, figure things out, and then we'll be back in a couple minutes, everyone. Thank you, everyone who's here. Hopefully you appreciated the marathon and all the runs. We'll be back with you in a couple minutes.